Carl Friedrich Gauss, the Prince of Mathematics. Welcome, dear viewers, to the world of Carl Friedrich Gauss, one of the greatest mathematicians to ever live. Today, we dive into the incredible life of a child prodigy who would grow up to shape the very fabric of mathematics as we know it. From counting at 3 to discovering a groundbreaking theorem at 24, Gauss lived a life filled with brilliance, curiosity, and more than a few surprising stories. So, sit back and get ready for 20 minutes of awe-inspiring genius and some funny anecdotes along the way. Carl Friedrich Gauss was born on April 30, 1777, in Brunswick, in what is now Germany. Legend has it that Gauss's brilliance became apparent at a very young age. As the story goes, when Gauss was just 3 years old, he corrected an error in his father's calculations related to the family's finances. Imagine that, a toddler sitting there, calmly correcting his dad's math. Most kids his age were busy playing with blocks, but Gauss? He was correcting financial statements. But the story that truly marks Gauss's genius happened when he was around 7 years old. In school, his teacher, Mr. Büttner, asked the class to sum the numbers from 1 to 100, likely to keep the students occupied for a while. However, young Carl had other ideas. Within minutes, he blurted out the answer, 5,050. While the other students were still scratching their heads, Gauss had found a quick method to solve the problem. Instead of adding the numbers one by one, he realized that pairing them, like 1 plus 100, 2 plus 99, and so on, gave an easy sum of 101. Multiply that by 50 pairs, and voila, you get 5,050. That was Carl Gauss's first major mic drop moment, and he wasn't even 10 years old. Gauss's incredible talent didn't go unnoticed. His teacher, Büttner, was so impressed that he recommended Gauss to the Duke of Brunswick, who became his lifelong patron. The Duke funded Gauss's education, recognizing the boy's extraordinary potential. By the age of 18, Gauss was already making waves in the world of mathematics. Now, let's pause for a moment. Imagine being a teenager and discovering things that would change the course of human knowledge. While most 18-year-olds today might be worrying about college applications, Gauss was busy proving what would later be called the fundamental theorem of algebra. He showed that every polynomial equation has at least one complex root, a result that would lay the foundation for much of modern mathematics. But wait, it gets even better. Gauss's first major publication came in 1801, when he was just 24. His book, Disquisitiones Arithmeticae, revolutionized number theory. In it, Gauss developed what we now call modular arithmetic, which has applications in everything from cryptography to coding theory today. But here's the funny part, Gauss didn't think this work was all that important. He viewed it as just a stepping stone to even more groundbreaking discoveries. Typical genius, right? Around the same time, Gauss became involved in astronomy, and this is where things take an interesting turn. In 1801, the Italian astronomer Giuseppe Piazzi discovered the dwarf planet Ceres, but after a few months, it was lost from view. Enter Gauss. Using only a handful of observations and his mathematical wizardry, Gauss predicted the position of Ceres with remarkable accuracy. His calculations allowed astronomers to rediscover Ceres, solidifying his reputation not just as a mathematician but as an all-around genius. Gauss's method for calculating orbits became the foundation for modern celestial mechanics. It's no wonder that later in life, Gauss took a keen interest in geodesy, the science of measuring the Earth. In fact, he invented what we now call the heliotrope, a device that uses reflected sunlight to measure distances with incredible precision. Gauss wasn't just a genius with numbers and theorems. He had a playful side too. One story goes that Gauss once got into a friendly rivalry with his assistant, Wilhelm Weber. They were working on the telegraph, a device that would allow messages to be sent over long distances using electrical signals. Weber had his doubts about the practicality of the invention, but Gauss was convinced it would work. One day, when Weber was testing the device, he received the first ever telegraph message, "Will you come to dinner?" Gauss had sent the message from another room, proving not only the functionality of the telegraph but also his sense of humor. Despite his brilliance, Gauss was known to be somewhat reclusive and avoided public recognition. He preferred working in isolation, often keeping his most important discoveries to himself until he was absolutely certain they were flawless. In fact, Gauss made numerous discoveries that he never published, either because he didn't consider them perfect or because he felt they were ahead of their time. One such example is non-Euclidean geometry. While Gauss had worked out much of the theory behind it, he never published his findings. It wasn't until later, when mathematicians like Lobachevsky and Bolyai independently developed non-Euclidean geometry, that Gauss revealed he had known about it all along. He even wrote in a letter, "I am in complete agreement with the views of Bolyai and Lobachevsky." Talk about being ahead of the curve. And while Gauss was clearly a master of mathematics, he was also a loving father and grandfather. However, his personal life wasn't without tragedy. Gauss's first wife, Joanna, passed away during childbirth, and his second wife, Minna, also died young. These losses deeply affected Gauss, and he never fully recovered from them. In his later years, Gauss continued to work on mathematics, astronomy, and geodesy, contributing to all three fields. He was awarded numerous honors and accolades, but true to his character, Gauss remained humble and dedicated to his work until the very end. He passed away on February 23, 1855, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations of mathematicians, scientists, and thinkers. Today, Carl Friedrich Gauss is remembered not only for his unparalleled contributions to mathematics but also for his ability to see beauty in numbers, his playful personality, and his relentless pursuit of knowledge. So, what can we learn from the life of Carl Friedrich Gauss? Perhaps it's that genius isn't just about solving problems, it's about seeing the world differently. Whether he was discovering new theorems, predicting the orbit of a lost planet, or inventing tools to measure the Earth, Gauss never stopped asking questions or pushing the boundaries of what was possible. And that, dear viewers, is the story of Carl Friedrich Gauss, the Prince of Mathematics. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the life of one of history's greatest minds. If you found this video inspiring, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of brilliant minds and their lasting impact on the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.